In this video, we are in Albany, New York to try out a brewery called Fort Orange Brewing. So please join us as we check out the space and sample some of the beer to see if this spot is worth you giving a visit. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're finishing up our trip at Albany and checking out Fort Orange Brewing, a warehouse district taproom that opened in October 2017, founded by John Westcott, Jim Eaton, and Greg Johnson. Now, what are people saying about it online? Well, on Yelp, they have a score of 3.9 out of 40 reviews, and on Google, a score of 4.7 out of 227 reviews. So a big difference between Yelp and Google there. Now, for the positives, we see that it's one of their favorite spots, and they love the beer. In fact, several people mentioned the great beer. They also mentioned it's kid and dog friendly. For the negatives, they also mention that there's too many pets, in fact, calling them narcissistic pet owners that bring their attack animals, so that's kind of harsh. And then they also mention poor service, rude bartenders, and unfriendly staff. So are the positive reviews correct or the negative? Well, let's head on in and find out for ourselves. Now, taking a seat here, as you can see from the board, they have a really good selection of beer. Now, I didn't see a printed menu, so you have to order basically off the display here, but it's nice to see that they have about 13 beers. Also, another good thing is they allow flights. You have your typical flight of 4 beers, and then they have this massive 10 beer flight that is just amazing. I love that they do that because you can try almost every beer they got, 10 out of the 13, which is super cool. Fidens, take note. At least give us a 4 beer flight. Come on now. So we're going to get that 10 beer flight and we're going to try them out and let you know what we think. Well, here we have it, our massive 10 beer flight. And so we're going to start with this one side and go through those beers, then kind of order in the rank we like them. And then we'll start on the other side and do those beers. And then we'll tell you our overall rank for all 10 of these beers. So starting first with beer 1, it's called the Timber. It's a 6.1% American IPA, and it's not really hazy. It's a more West Coast style IPA. Definitely get that bitterness and hoppiness. All right, nothing fantastic about it, but not bad either. Then I got this Strawberry Wheat Ale. That's a 4.7, and that's delicious. Really nice, refreshing, but not tart like a sour. Then for our next beer, we have the Apricot Wheat. It's a wheat beer, but it's fruited with the apricot, and this is so good. It's delicious. I love the apricot flavors in there. Very fresh, very natural. This is so far, I think, my favorite of all the beers. Then next, we have this Peach Blonde Ale. It's a blonde golden ale, American, they mention. And I have to say, I really like this peach ale. It's delicious, refreshing. You get a nice pop of those peach flavors. So then moving on, we move on to our Timber with Cherry. So it's the same IPA as before, but they added some fruit to it. Now, I have to say that I was on the fence with this one. The cherry was more a cherry soda than a natural cherry, and I don't think I would order it again. Because it just doesn't quite taste natural, almost medicinal. So not my favorite, and my wife didn't like it either. So I have to say that in order of what I kind of like is first the apricot, then the peach, third the strawberry, finally the timber, and then the cherry last. That's on this side. I'll give you a synopsis of all the beers I like and my top 5 once I finish the other side. So now we flipped it around, and this time we're going to go left to right, and we're going to start with beer 8. And this is the 7 with pineapple IPA, and this was really good. The best IPA that I had here, not too fruity, but you do get a nice little pop of pineapple. Definitely Fort Orange's best IPA, and it's a nice hazy one at that. Then next, for our next one, we got the Fort Orange Blonde Golden Ale. That's American ale, and it was solid, refreshing blonde ale with a little pop of citrus. I enjoyed it. Definitely good for the summer, but didn't blow me away. But I'm not a huge blonde golden ale fan. I like more hazy IPAs, but still really good beer. Then next we have the Christmas Stout, and this was fantastic. You get some nice holiday spices along with notes of chocolate. This was one of my favorites of the sampler. Then after that, you have this mint chocolate chip pastry stout. I really enjoyed this one. It reminded me a little of a Thin Mint. I'm not sure I would drink the whole thing, but I enjoyed it. However, if you don't like notes of chocolate and mint, then I would give this one a pass. My wife actually doesn't like that, so she did not enjoy this beer. So it's definitely not for everyone, but I actually did like it, although I would keep it to a smaller serving, or you might get tired of it. Then finally, we have the Apricot Sour, and I really like this sour. While my wife isn't a fan of sours, for me this hit a good balance. It wasn't too tart, and the apricot really popped. So this brings us to the conclusion of this massive flight. I have to say, we had a blast going through all these beers. Overall, I would say my top 5 favorite was first the Apricot Blonde, then that Peach Blonde, and along with the Pineapple IPA, I would tie those for second place. I would rate the Christmas Ale as third, though honestly I was on the fence as to make it a 3-way tie between that and the Peach and Pineapple, but I'll slide in at third. Then for a solid fourth, the Apricot Sour. I really enjoyed that. And finally, that Strawberry Ale takes fifth, though like I said, all of these were delicious and I really enjoyed them, and so did my wife, although she did not like the Apricot Sour so much, but she doesn't like sours. So looks like we're all done and we're gonna head out. And as we head out, what are the positive, neutral, and negative of this brewery? Well, for the positive, first we have the beer, then the fact that they not only give flights, but they have that 10 sample flight, and then finally the atmosphere. Really, all the beer is really solid. I love those fruited beers, and I also like that Christmas stout, so can't go wrong with the beer. Then the atmosphere is super cool, especially for summer, but that flight, that's the main draw here. The fact that they do a 10 sample flight, you don't see that many spots. Then for neutral, I would say the service. It wasn't bad, it wasn't unfriendly, but it wasn't incredible either. And then for negatives, we have no negatives. Now, to address some of the reviews, in our personal experience, none of the negative reviews were true. However, it was a very cold winter day when we visited, and also very slow, so the issues mentioned about a large number of pets may be more of a problem on a busier day, especially during the summer. So what are our final thoughts about Fort Orange Brewing? Well, we really enjoyed it. It's a chill spot that I can definitely see being really nice in the summertime. If I was a local, I would definitely swing in from time to time to see what they have on tap, though I probably would not have it in my regular rotation. As a visitor, this is a must visit, especially since they make it so easy to try out the beers efficiently with that massive sampler. I hope they never get rid of that. Now, I would rank it below Common Roots and Fidens, mainly because they don't serve food and it's a bit more out of the way. I will say that sometimes they do have a food truck, so depending on which truck they have, the food may be pretty good as well. I think both Fidens and Common Roots beat them in the hazy IPA department, and Common Roots has a bit more variety overall, as well as food. However, the fruited beers are really good. Of course, if that's not your thing, then I would probably knock this lower on your list since they have a lot of them. However, if you don't care about the food and you like the beer styles such as fruited blondes, which I personally love, then I would definitely move this spot up on your list. Overall, if you have the time, this place is definitely worth a visit. Get the big 10 beer sampler, it's totally worth it. Well, those are our final thoughts on Fort Orange Brewery. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this video or the playlist on the screen right here. Also, please let us know what you think or if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments below. Finally, please click like, subscribe, and that bell icon so you get notified of any new videos. And most importantly, always drink responsibly. Thank you for watching, and please join us again on Boozy Explorers.